What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new football news video where we will talk about Manchester City potentially getting kicked out of the Football League altogether and demoted to non-league football because the independent commission that is investigating the two clubs, Everton's and Manchester City's financial fair play rule breaching accusations, they have pretty much unlimited power to give clubs sanctions, and they could strip Manchester City's titles away and give the titles back to the second place team behind Manchester City. Let me know what would be the fair and right punishment for Manchester City and also for Everton, who had a couple of financial fair play rule breaches, but they are threatened with a 12-point deduction. So I would question, and Sam Wallace, who is a chief football writer for The Telegraph, had a brilliant article on this, that the Premier League has to control this, otherwise the league will descend into chaos where nobody is following the rules and the laws of the game, because if you don't punish Man City, if you don't punish Everton for breaking the rules, then what incentive, what motivation have the other clubs to follow the rules? And the past 5 years have actually passed after the original allegations came out against Manchester City, and it has surfaced sometimes and now it's surfacing again because Everton, for breaching rules in the 21-22 season, are threatened with a 12-point deduction. And Sam Wallace is saying that the commission that is investigating Manchester City and Everton, they have unlimited powers in terms of sanction, and they could even expel a club from the football pyramid, and Man City could end up in non-league football. The Premier League also has no separate legal department to handle the prosecution of vast and involved cases such as Manchester City and to a lesser extent Everton. Of course it instructs external legal counsel, but it is the same team that oversees all of its businesses, and from commercial deals to the bidding for its broadcasting rights. So these are no small considerations. What kind of Premier League will emerge from these two landmark cases already seems clear. A necessarily more combative organization with the new real-time financial controls, which will suck in more resources. It is the clubs that have made it that way, Sam Wallace is saying, but those like Man City and Everton who have been charged, and also the rest who lobby privately for a quicker process. And guys, of course, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here, and you can please support my work further if you can. Click the thanks button below the video for a one-time donation, or subscribe to my Patreon where you get great exclusive new content and many rewards if you sign up to the different tiers, and it just costs a few dollars. And these are really serious matters, because there has been suggestions of clubs rebellion inside the Premier League. Leeds United and Burnley threatened an alliance of sorts at the end of the 21-22 season, and both clubs were relegated in that season. Everton just stayed up by a few points when Everton breached financial fair play rules, and all clubs, rich and not so wealthy, benefit from the robustness of the league, the robustness in terms of competition, the rise and fall for the fortunes of its competitors, a global audience who undoubtedly love the biggest names in the league. But robustness in the Premier League also means following the rules, and at times accepting that what is good for the league's health is necessarily the ideal outcome for one club or another. It is a compromise. The league has to be able to sanction without effectively being punished for it. There is a belief that the Premier League can withstand anything and remains such a compelling brand of and a very competitive league, whether that is government regulation, greater revenue sharing among clubs, or the fundamental changes proposed in Project Big Picture 3 years ago. That is still an assumption, but first of all it needs to be able to sanction with confidence that it does not invite more chaos. And that's why I think Sam Wallace is arguing basically the Premier League has to punish clubs who breach the rules, like Manchester City and Everton. Otherwise, the league will descend into chaos, and the Premier League will survive. Even if Man City is relegated to non-league, I mean, it would be a great story for them to come up through the leagues and to get back into the Premier League. But they deserve to be relegated because they breached so many financial fair play rules, allegedly 115 rules. If they are proven to be guilty, they have to be sanctioned with the harshest punishments, because other clubs like Newcastle United have to be nervous and worried and afraid to breach financial fair play rules. And Newcastle United have been kind of spending moderately, and they are trying to stay within financial fair play rules because they don't know yet what kind of punishment Man City will have. And that's what I'm saying, that absolutely the Premier League has to punish Manchester City in the harshest and most brutal way. Because to breach financial fair play rules 115 times, if they are found guilty, you just cannot let them get away with it. You cannot let them keep their titles, which they won by cheating and not following the rules. Otherwise, the Premier League will descend into chaos, and I think Sam Wallace is pretty right in his analysis. And you might wonder, why does it take so long for this independent commission to come up with a verdict, where the challenge for this commission in both cases of punishing Man City and Everton, it will be to try to protect the Premier League from a huge array of legal claims from third parties. But essentially, if you find Everton guilty of breaching financial fair play rules, then Leeds United and Burnley could sue the Premier League for lost revenue and for a lot of things, that they got relegated because of a few points finishing below Everton, who were not following the rules. Liverpool and other clubs who finished second behind Man City could sue the Premier League for lost revenue, lost sponsorship deals. Imagine if Liverpool won the league title 3 times under Jurgen Klopp already. We would be 3 times Premier League champions if it wasn't for the referees cheating and helping Manchester City, or if it wasn't for Man City cheating and buying all the best players in the world for £50 million each. They had an incredible squad, and they only won the league twice by 1 point ahead of Liverpool. So I will keep you guys updated on this story, but at the moment Sam Wallace is saying that the Premier League absolutely have to punish Manchester City and Everton unless they want the Premier League to go into chaos. And also, look at the Serie A. They punished Juventus, and then Juventus came back, and now they are a leading power in the league again. But they relegated Juventus for cheating and breaking rules. So why can't the Premier League do it with Manchester City? And I think what Man City did is actually even a lot worse, and there are a lot more rules that they broke. So let me know, where do you stand on this debate? And I also want to tell you guys that the update that I thought was true, that Luis Diaz's father was found, it turned out to be false, and Luis Diaz's father is still kidnapped, and it's a horrible situation. And I loved when Diogo Jota scored that he held up Luis Diaz's shirt to the whole of Anfield and to the TV audience as well. I absolutely loved that gesture, and I really hope that very quickly Luis Diaz's father is found well and safe. And Jurgen Klopp said that the preparation for this game against Nottingham Forest was the most difficult I ever had in my life. We all pray that everything will be fine. The only thing we do is fight for our brother, and that's what the players did. We sent people with him, we had people there to take care of them. There is part of his family there as well. Luis Diaz was at Liverpool's hotel late on Saturday night when he was told of his parents' kidnapping, and then Luis Diaz agreed with Jurgen Klopp that he would fly home to Colombia with his girlfriend and their young daughter to be with his family. And of course there is part of his family in Colombia, so it's why they want to be together, and it's absolutely understandable. Then we got the news about his mom, which is absolutely fantastic, and since then no news really. They are working on it, but it's some distance. We are obviously not the first people that get informed, but we try to get knowledge of everything, but we do not want to disturb in any way. We are not the important people there, we just want to support Luis. And I mean, football pales in significance to the issues that Luis Diaz is facing. Some things are much bigger than football, so I really hope that Luis Diaz's family and especially his father is found well and his family can stay strong and support each other. And Jota was very emotional, saying it's a very hard situation and I don't know how anyone would react if it happened to you. He was going to play, I played instead of him and I showed him his shirt to show we are with him and we hope everything works out. It's unimaginable to think a situation like this could happen. We can just support him and show him that we are with him. How can you make a football game really important on a day like this? You can asked. It's really difficult. I never struggled with that in my life. It was always my safe safe place. Sometimes my hiding point as a player or as a coach. You are allowed during these 90+ minutes to focus just on football, but it was absolutely impossible to do that today. It was clear we had to give the game an extra sense and it was fighting for Lucho. Then the boys pulled out the shirt and I was not 100% prepared for that. It was really touching and wonderful as well. And the Jurgen Klopp chanted, "None of us walks alone." The Jurgen chanted Luis Diaz's name and then Dominic Szoboszlai, my fellow countryman, summed it up best. "None of us walks alone, Luis." The national police and the military in Colombia have been mobilized in search of Luis Diaz's father, and the reward of around 200 million pesos, which is like 40,000 pounds, $48,000, has been put forward for information that would help the rescue mission and the capture of those responsible. And Luis Diaz's hero is his father, so this search continues and I will keep following the news and stay and give you guys updates if I get any. And I get emotional just thinking about what Luis Diaz is going through, so I really hope that he stays strong. You will never walk alone, Luis. And now let's move on to my fellow Hungarian countryman who has been lauded by so many Liverpool fans. It's actually brilliant to read you guys absolutely rave about him, and finally you guys see him up close and in the flesh, how brilliant of a footballer he is. And it's actually really exciting that he just turned 23 years old. He's still a young player who is developing, growing and getting better. And Tony Cascarino, a pundit, says that he's really enjoying watching Szoboszlai play. It has been one of the biggest joys this season to watch Szoboszlai play in a Liverpool shirt. The young Hungarian has been outstanding this season, Cascarino said, with his reading of the game, lightning pace and stamina that means he covers every blade of grass. It is a tribute to great recruitment at Anfield that they picked him up for just 60 million pounds from Leipzig, which could turn out to be a steal. He has repaid their faith by being brilliant in every minute of every league game so far. He was impressive again in the rout of Nottingham Forest yesterday. If it weren't for the unbelievable headlines being made by the likes of Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, James Maddison, then I think Szoboszlai would have earned far more plaudits than he has. He has had to do a lot of different jobs in this Liverpool midfield, but once we get a proper defensive midfielder like Andre in the January transfer window, Szoboszlai will be unleashed and he will be scoring and assisting even more. He got his first 2 official assists against Nottingham Forest, but he will get many more goals, and he already has 2 goals for Liverpool, and I think he's been a really good start, but he will be even better in the future. Just watch this space and just watch Szoboszlai closely. It's an absolute joy to watch him play football. He very rarely makes the wrong pass or the wrong decision on the pitch, which is remarkable for a 23-year-old player, really. And it's really painful that Liverpool still cannot operate their stadium, the Anfield Stadium, at full capacity because of the company going bankrupt. Liverpool are losing around 11 million pounds of pre-tax losses in revenue in December. Hopefully the stand will be able to be opened in January or February. And an industry expert familiar with the process says that in these situations, the new contractor who takes over the work will look at the remaining work, calculate the risk and then name the price. Inevitably it will be more because the initial price was set with everything being completed on time. The new contractor can drive a harder bargain because of the need to get the job finished. With the cost of materials continuing to rise with high inflation, it's a doable whammy for Liverpool. Very unfortunate but not unusual. On top of the cost, the additional cost of finishing the rebuilding of the stadium, Liverpool are also losing £750,000 of revenue per game to the ongoing delays. Capacity being down, 11,000 less fans are able to attend any game. So you can calculate how many games Liverpool will have to play with this reduced capacity stadium and just multiply that with £750,000. So I guessed it will be around 10-11 million pounds of lost revenue for Liverpool, but it might end up even more if the delays keep being stretched out more and more. Let me know what do you think about all the stories that we covered in today's video in the comments below, and thanks for watching guys. Have a nice day. See you later. Get ready.